Welcome to Beyond 50 Skin. My name is Cindy. If you are interested in getting this really natural, easy breezy, fast makeup and skincare look, stay tuned. We're going to jump right into it. Welcome to Beyond 50 Skin. My name is Cindy. So happy to have you here. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. Today, I'm going to do a Get Ready With Me. It's going to be a 3-step skincare routine, and then I'm going to jump into some new makeup that I've purchased. If you know my channel, I don't do a lot of makeup. Just started wearing it in my 50s. I have a bit of a history with makeup that I want to share with you today, and it'll kind of explain why I never really wore makeup in the past. But let's get started with a really simple, basic skincare routine. I am trying to choose between 3 different lotions or spritzes. I have my fulvic, I have a premium lotion that I've been trying out from Kojic, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm not quite sure, so I apologize if I butchered that. This is a thicker lotion that I like to use in the morning as a skin prep. And then my go-to, which is the Tsukiyaki moisturizing lotion. It is just so hydrating. I was trying to decide this morning. I've been experimenting with this particular formula, and it's a little bit on the thick side. If you can see how it's kind of got a thick consistency. And I've been noticing that midway throughout the day, I think that dries down and gets a little bit flaky and kind of makes my skin a little bit flaky under my makeup, if I'm wearing makeup or foundation, and under my sunscreen. So I'm going to stick with, I've done fulvic mist all week, and my eczema and redness is a little bit more under control than it was earlier in the week. So I think I'm going to go with my Tsukiyaki moisturizing lotion. And I'm going to grab my spritzer. I'm going to show you how I kind of atomize that into a spray. Of course, you can always just use it straight out of the bottle as a lotion, but it's a real little runny, but it still goes on pretty well. And it dries down just so nicely. It's so hydrating and moisturizing and just really light and refreshing in the morning. But let me get my sprayer real quick, and I want to show you that too. I know I'm always jumping up in the middle of a video, but it just seems to be I cannot remember everything. But I like this sprayer, and it's super affordable on Amazon because it gives just a nice mist. And I just pour any of my lotions in there in the morning and use that kind of as a fresh, refreshing step to start my skincare. Okay, as we let that dry down, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my makeup selection today. I like a real minimalist look for makeup. I grew up not wearing makeup in my teens. Our morning around my house was really busy. My mom was a single mom when I was little, and I never really had the opportunity to watch her put her makeup on. She was running around getting ready for work while I was sort of posted with my cereal bowl in front of the cartoons. And then she would rush me off to get me dressed, and she had kind of already done her makeup. So there was no drawn out sort of makeup application. I think she wears a foundation. She wore some mascara, I think, and then just one color, like a single color eyeshadow. And she just didn't make much of a fuss about it. And then when I got in high school, I just wasn't in a group of girls that wore makeup. We just didn't. And so I never really learned to put on makeup accurately. And then I tried it in my 30s. And I had a really negative comment from a family member. They said something like, "Oh, it just looks like you've been slapped." And that really stuck with me. And I just was like, okay, I guess I'm not very good at this. And I just never really bothered with makeup. But in my 50s, I found that now that I'm retired and I'm spending a little more time on me, that I really want to experiment with just a little bit of makeup to kind of make me look more fresh throughout my day and just give me a little pick-me-up. But I'm very much a beginner. I may have a few tips of advice for you, but I am not an expert at all. So whatever I tell you is basically what I've learned through watching YouTube channels or asking friends. So none of this is original. Or watching TikToks, actually. So none of my ideas are original, and I'll try to credit where I can in my routine. So my lotion is dried down. So I've been using I'm going to do 3 steps, actually 4 steps this morning, because I want to put on this new Dermalogica Vitamin C serum that I've been using, the Biolumin C. And I'm kind of curious how the Strivectin Tighten and Lift Peptide Tight works over it. I haven't used that combination before, and I was a little bit curious on how that might set up. and give me a little bit more hydration. It's really dry here. We're going to be getting a winter storm. So I have a little bit more time because there's not going to be much running around today. And I was going to see how the strivectin worked over it and then do my sunscreen. Now the sunscreen that I've chosen today is CHANTECAILLE by Dr. Jart. This is a really great SPF to have under if you're going to wear foundation. It gets rid of the redness, which I've really been suffering from redness. I don't know what's up. I don't suffer from rosacea, but my skin has been really reactive lately. I'm not quite sure. I've cut down on my tretinoin, and I'm using this to kind of cut down some of the redness that is popping through. And then I'm going to be using the NARS foundation. My color is Mont Blanc, and to do that kind of lit from within look that I'm really enjoying lately, I'm going to try this by Lush, Feeling Younger. This is one of the one-step eyeshadows I started out with as a beginner. It just gives a little bit of brightness to the lid, but it's not too much, but it can also be used in other ways you want to highlight your face. And that step that I learned from Trinity London to kind of do a highlighter under your foundation to kind of get that really bright look. My skin's been looking kind of red, dull, and flaky, so I'm going to try that today, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so my vitamin C serum has dried down, and I'm going to jump into a pump of the strivectin peptide tight. So we'll let that dry down, and then I'm going to start in with the Feeling Younger because of a light layer all over my face for that lit within look. And then to make it super easy, I'm going to prep my lids with this new MAC shadow. Now, people are using it as a prep, and this was recommended to me by Maggie D for her no makeup look. She uses this just very lightly. It's called Painterly by MAC, and I guess they originally came out with it as a shadow. It's a great first step or only step if you're kind of a no makeup person, or if you're just beginning with shadow. This is a really great little primer step. And the other one I've been using is Lily Just a Touch by Trinity London. And I typically use this to kind of cover up the veins and the redness on my lid, but I'm gonna try the MAC, I cannot say this word, Painterly this morning and see what we got. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm just gonna warm it up in my fingers. And also another tip I've gotten recently for doing makeup is to start with your eyes, because this was from Laura Ray. Then if you have any fallout, you don't have to touch up your foundation. That seems so simple, but what a smart idea. I'm always doing my foundation first, jumping in with my foundation. And that gave a really nice cover to the redness on my lids. I really like this. It warms up into kind of a soft, buttery texture. And it does need warming up. And I'm gonna do a little bit in the inner corner because I'm not gonna do a concealer today. I'm just gonna cheat and use this as a concealer for my inner corner purpleness. Okay, I think that really did a nice job of covering up those veins and those lines. That's really nice. I like that. And it's kind of a semi-matte finish where the Just a Touch is a little bit more pearlescent. And it's actually a little pinker. You can see that. Okay, so we've got the Painterly on. And now I'm going to come in with my sunscreen. So this is the CHANTECAILLE by Dr. Jart. And it's kind of a creamy, and it looks a little bit green, but it goes on once you put it on, it kind of goes to your skin tone. And it does help cover up the redness a bit. And it also is a great primer for foundation. I would say if you don't have a moisturizer under this kind of dries down, if you're just kind of skipping your moisturizer, dries down somewhat matte throughout the day. I'm going to do a little extra on my cheeks. I should have probably whisked those bangs out of the way, but I didn't. So that's kind of how that sets up. It kind of knocks down the redness and leaves a really nice finish. All right. So we'll let my SPF dry down, and then I'll work on my shadow application next. Now, I am not an expert in shadows, so I like to pick just small palettes that don't have a lot of colors so that I don't get overwhelmed in which one I should put first and what I should put where. If you're a beginner with makeup, it's really great to start with a small palette. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I like the nudist palette. They're just a set of neutrals. They're only, what, 5 in here? And it's just really easy to pick a light, a medium, and a dark, and just apply in what I call the palette method, and then just blend out with your blending brush. But I have this new little palette, the Giraffe Eye Quartet from CHANTECAILLE, and I wanted to kind of experiment with that today and see what kind of a look we can get. Like I said, the 2 sparkly ones are a little bit intimidating, but I think I'm going to go in with what I usually do, the lighter shade, the medium shade over the mobile lid, and then the darker shade on the outside, and we'll see how this turns out. Now, like I said, I apply with a flat palette brush, and I just apply all 3 colors, and then I blend them all together. It's a really simple way that I learned how to apply shadow if you're a beginner and you're not really sure how to do the contrasting colors at the different levels of your lid, like the mobile lid, the deeper crease, and the top. So I'm going to go in with the lightest color in the corner, then the medium taupey color over the mobile lid. And these are a bit more pigmented than I'm used to using, so I may need to knock down some of this color. But as you can see, I just apply it in a couple strokes vertically, and then I'm going to tap this off, the excess off, and then go in with the darkest shade on the outside. And I am getting some fallout, so I really appreciate Laura Ray's idea about not putting my foundation on first. Okay, so I'm going to come in a little bit closer, and then I'm going to knock some of this off because it's kind of fallen, and show you kind of how the colors line up and how I do it. And then I just take a fluffy brush and blend. And I start from the lightest and work my way out. And then once I get to the corner, I do bring the darker shade up into the crease just a little bit. And see, that just gives it's really fast, it's really easy. It's kind of a no-fault application. If you feel it's a little heavy, you can go ahead and go back over it and blend. Because what I've learned as a beginner is the more you blend, the nicer the look is. All right, I'm going to take some of that off down under the under area, knock some of the extra powder that fell off. And I think that looks pretty good. Now you can see here, I have a protruding tear duct and it kind of puffs out. And so the lighter shade there isn't necessarily all that attractive, but I'm just going to leave it. But I really like this palette. It turned out really nicely. I'm a little bit on the surprise side that it wasn't too dark or too overwhelming, and it was just a really easy way to apply it. All right, so now I'm going to do the base under my foundation for that lit within look with the Feeling Younger. It is a creamy consistency. It's basically like a cream highlighter. And I'm just going to tap that in dots, and it just blends in and just brightens everything up. And I'm just doing it with my fingers because this is a fast, everyday look that I'm going for. And you can see it's not too shimmery. It doesn't have any plastic glittery particles in it. It's just some mica. And it just blends in really nicely. And then I'm going to come in with the NARS foundation over top. And also just pat this in with my fingers. Now the NARS foundation is definitely buildable. It also has those light reflecting properties. So for you personally, it might be too much to do the under layer of highlighter, but I think this just sort of brightens my face up. I can use a little bit less foundation, so it has more of a skin-like finish, which I appreciate. And I'm still sort of glowing without quite being a headlamp. I wanted to show you how this looks in natural light. It is a bit overcast today, but just to prove to you that it's really not overly glowing,
and it just gives a very skin-like finish having the highlighter underneath the foundation.
And that moves me into lipstick. Or shall we do, nope, I'm gonna do mascara first. Okay, so I started using the Better Than Sex mascara, the Too Faced, years ago, and I really liked it. And I'm gonna try that, but I have a cheaper option because it has that double bristle, which helps separate the lashes. So you don't have to go back in with a spoolie. You can just do like a quick couple strokes and you're done. But I found the dupe for this that I like is the Big Mood by e.l.f. I really like this mascara. It also has that double brush that gets down in the lashes and keeps them super separated. I have a little bit of smudge right here. That was operator error, not the brush. But 2 strokes and I'm done with my mascara. I love the fact that those type of brushes are just fast and easy and doesn't have that clumpy look. Really good. I love that. Super easy. If I'm gonna do makeup, I want it fast and no fuss, right? Okay, so I also splurged and got the Giraffe Chantecaille lipstick. Now I'm gonna swatch these for you. I think the secret to an everyday lip, and again, I'm no expert, is to find a color that is the closest to your lip color. Like if you get some blood flow in there, and if you find a lip color that almost matches your lips, you can wear it all day. You can reapply all day without having to look in a mirror, without having to worry about it. And I like a little bit of a thinner consistency. So I picked up the Superstar by Charlotte Tilbury, and it's in nude. The Superstar is in nude pink. And I really like this color. I'm going to swatch this for you. It's slightly sheer, which I like for every day. And then the other color, which I just got, is the Chantecaille, and it is in Freesia. I think this is going to be too pink to kind of match my lip, but I could be wrong. Oh, it's very sheer. Actually, those are pretty close. The Freesia has a little bit more pink to it, and the nude pink is a little bit more of a berry color. But this is much sheerer than I expected. I might try that today. It would be Chantecaille all the way. And then the last one, which is also by Charlotte Tilbury, is her Pillow Talk. And this is the Pillow Talk. This is also in nude pink, but it's the matte lipstick formulation. And actually I'm going to swatch it instead of put it on because I know this is going to be a little bit too orange for me today. And it's also going to be really dry and really cold. And I think it's going to be a little bit too matte. You know, I think I'm going to go with the new one by Chantecaille. We'll see what we get. Ooh, that's really nice and sheer. Really hydrating. I like that. That's just a natural look. It's kind of in between those two colors. It's not exactly as berry colored as the Superstar lips, but it's still nice and sheer. I like it. I definitely like it. It's close enough to my lip color that I could probably reapply without having to worry about it too much, using a lip liner to kind of keep it all in place. Okay, so I think, guys, that is really my very quick 3-step, actually ended up being 4-step with the SPF skincare routine. And eyes, mascara, and my new shadow palette done. Really enjoying and less intimidated than I thought I would be with the Giraffe Quartet. And I am just a sucker for giraffes. They're, like I said, this is a luxury brand, the Chantecaille brand, but I wanted to treat myself, and they really have a really good message. They are supporting, I'm just going to read it, the Giraffe Conservation Foundation, and it works in 16 African countries, impacting more than 100 million acres of giraffe habitat. And they use scientific findings to bring innovative approach to saving giraffes in the wild. And I just thought that was just, I don't know, it just got to my heart, I guess. And I'm definitely a bit of a sucker for giraffes. So I know they have the Elephant Foundation too, and they are all into conservation. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was a really fast, just quick get ready with me, showing you some of the new products that I've purchased and how I'm liking them. Also, I hope you liked my tip with this. If you needed just a little bit of extra glow that's sort of lit within, starting with a little bit of a highlighter and then doing your foundation. That was a tip that I learned from Trinity London, as I mentioned, and also the tip from Laura Ray about putting on your eye makeup before you jump into your foundation, so you just have less to clean up. As a beginner experimenting with makeup, I love the fact that there's so many resources now that we can go to for learning how to apply makeup and how to get a really nice look in a really efficient manner. So I really appreciate the fact that I learned the paddle method. I cannot remember who was the first person to teach me that, but I've seen it in a couple different places. I think it might have been a TikTok video. Anyway, thanks for joining me today on this quick little makeup and get ready with me. I really appreciate the time that you spend with me. Please throw this a thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video and got a few tips. Like I said, most of these tips, they're not mine. I learned them along the way from other awesome YouTubers and a few folks over on Instagram, so I will credit them down below. And I really appreciate that, like I said, the time that you spend with me. Wishing you a very wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.